Oh, that's real good.
Hey. There's Nate.
Right under the gun.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been sitting in the week 8, with IDP
I was in
room.
the flex.
I just wanted to have the whole show to myself. So I was going to recap and be 100% accurate for week 8. No errors, no misses by me. It would have been a first time out of, pat myself on the back.
I love that.
All right. All is well.
We're here now. It's all good.
Jorge might show up at some point.
Yes, for those wondering, Jorge is currently occupied. We do have his picks though, so Nate and I can speak for his picks and maybe add some insight there. But hopefully Jorge might join us for the last few minutes of the show.
All right. This is You Down with IDP. You better be, because here we play defense, and we got a lot of news this week. Trade deadline was amazing, was it not?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Nice.
For degenerates like us, that was just like the greatest day ever. Like, the notifications just kept coming. It was awesome.
It was a good time.
All right, what are we going to start with? Roquan got traded to the Ravens?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely huge for both parties.
Tell us about it.
Go ahead, Joe. What's your take? I haven't spoken to you about what you think him moving to that Mike McDonald defense will do for his IDP ceiling or floor.
I don't know. Middle linebackers in Baltimore Ravens defenses tend to play pretty well. So there's the analysis. I don't think you need much more than that. There's the analysis.
No, I mean, you're right. It's a perfect. So here's the best part is, like, 5 months ago, 4 months ago, whatever it is, even now, 8 weeks ago, whatever. We were talking about landing spots for Blake Martinez, and Baltimore was like at the top of a number of our list. It's like, man, can you imagine if Blake Martinez ended up in Baltimore?
Oh yeah.
And now we get Roquan Smith there. And so I just want to see, like, the one thing I want to pay attention to is I want to see if they use him on pass rushing snaps and the heavy amount of blitzes like they're doing with Patrick Queen. If that's the case, imagine Roquan with the tackle volume he has and add an extra 3 to 4 sacks on the season. I mean, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. It is. Next we have Bradley Chubb to the Dolphins, who he got paid hugely today.
Helps Jalen Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that later.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think you're spot on with that. Joe Macri at PFF was talking about Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb being one of the top edge rushers in the NFL that have contributing pressures that lead to teammate sacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how they monitor that exactly. That metric seems one of those, the no Zollo metric where it's like, did it really
talk the bullshit that they're pulling out of their ass? Yeah.
Yes. But there's no statistic that quantifies having 2 quality edge rushers as far as that being a negative. You know what I mean? It's just going to feed off each other.
Yep. I think it was a good trade for both teams. The Broncos are going nowhere. I don't know why they would admit saying this trade was going to happen, whether we were 3-5 or 5-3 or no matter what. That was very strange to me. But it would appear we're not interested in this year anymore. We're moving on to next year. And we gave away our best defensive player.
Who cares?
Yeah.
See, when we did the show 2 weeks ago and we were doing news, I'm like, Joe would say, who cares?
Who cares? Whatever. Doesn't matter.
All right. We have Kwity Paye returning to practice for the Colts.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I like Kwity Paye. I like him as a player, so it's exciting news. They lose Tyquan Lewis for the season, so I guess timing is good, but I'm kind of on Joe. doesn't really move the needle all that much, unless you're in a super deep league and you have him and you need a defense, an edge rusher. There you go.
Yeah. Who cares?
Right.
Essentially, who cares?
Yeah.
Bad to say.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. Camus, Grugier Hill signs with the Cardinals.
Again, cool. Like,
I mean,
does it matter, Joe?
No, nothing matters. Nothing, absolutely nothing matters. I mean, I can tell you right now, most of the stuff down the rest of the list does not matter. Campbell maybe a little bit, but you're playing Detroit, dude.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The Bills, they play the Jets this week. It does not matter that Matt Milano and Jordan Poyer did not practice.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter.
Washington is the only one that I think that there's true, like from an IDP standpoint, you have Cole Holcomb as your LB1 and you need to pivot.
And then Chase Young for people that have stashed him this entire time, but don't expect big things out of Chase Young his first week back.
Nah, I don't expect anything from him the rest of the season. I'm not a Chase Young believer necessarily.
Yeah. I love our news and notes section, but
Joe says move on.
There's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing.
What do we have? Any questions, Joe?
No questions as of now into the basically the upside picks.
Okay, so are you gonna go with Jorge's picks first?
Yeah, I can run through Jorge's picks and we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He had Buckner last week, DL 30. That's not terrible. Not great, not bad. Christian Kirksey at linebacker 58. Nobody could tackle Henry is what he said. And Jonathan Owens, defensive back 148.
Yeah. Benched.
Yeah, not
he's not the defensive back whisperer like you.
No, he's not. And we're gonna see if I'm the defensive back whisperer again this week, and we'll get there because I went pretty outlandish on my DB pick. But Jorge this week has Uchenna Nwosu against the Cardinals, Nick Bolton against the Titans. So he's doubling down on the linebacker going against the Titans this week, and Jaquan Brisker against the Dolphins, the defensive back for the Bears. I feel like the most interesting one is probably Brisker. Uchenna Nwosu has been on a tear.
Mm-hmm.
He's been ripping through offensive lines. The Cardinals don't have the best offensive line, but they do pass protect better on the outside. I believe that was brought up in last week's show or a couple other week shows. So I know Jorge would bring that up. But Nwosu has the speed to contain Kyler Murray as well. And knowing that they like to dump down to their backs and keep everything short, he has the speed to potentially catch up to a Rondale Moore bubble screen, anything like that. He's very versatile as a D end. Nick Bolton is self-explanatory. Derrick Henry's going to get the ball 55 times on Sunday Night Football, especially if Malik Willis is playing. He's even going to be more active around the line of scrimmage. Jaquan Brisker, I think, is the most intriguing one. Brisker looking very good so far in his rookie year, and in a very pass-happy offense in the Miami Dolphins that Tua loves to underthrow his receivers when they're at least 15 yards down the field. I hope they notice that on tape, and Jaquan Brisker has already shown his ball hawking skills, and he has the hands to do it. So I think a guy who's probably going to tackle a lot over the middle because Waddle and Hill have been running a lot of crossing routes and skinny posts, deep slants. I think he's going to be very active. Nate, anything there?
No, I'm right there with you. I do. I think they'll probably let Eddie Jackson stay deep a little bit more so than Brisker. I mean, that's what you hit the nail on the head. I don't think there's a fear of getting beat over the top as much as there probably should be a little bit when you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and you have that. But like you said, with Tua, you don't worry about the top. You worry about like getting hit in the ribs and then Tyreek doing something with it and running over the top around you.
Yes.
But yeah, I've liked Brisker a lot this year. I think the rookie safety class this year might be one of the one of the better classes I've seen in a while,
Mhm.
at least between him and Jalen Petrie and, a few others. But I'm, being the Chiefs fan, I love Nick Bolton in this matchup. As you said, doubling down against Tennessee can be dangerous if you're a bad tackling team like Houston was. Houston gave up. That was the one thing that you notice in the game is that nobody was making tackles. Christian Harris was missing tackles. Christian Kirksey was missing tackles. Jonathan Owens was missing tackles, missed 3. Then he gets benched, and Eric Murray comes in and makes all the tackles. And Lovie Smith says immediately he's gonna go right back to Jonathan Owens. But Nick Bolton doesn't miss too many tackles. That should be actually a really, really good matchup, a fun matchup until Casey's up by 25. And Malik Willis
it's irrelevant.
And then it's irrelevant, exactly. Malik Willis can't throw to anybody. He'll probably end up, short and intermediate, and it's just going to be, I don't think it's going to be that close of a game, personally.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be an absolute decimation of the Tennessee Titans. I don't even think it's going to be close.
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Joe, why don't I have your picks from last week?
I did not pick last week since
Okay.
I was hosting. So, yep. I just said I won't do any picks this week since I'm hosting, and we just went from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who are you picking this week then?
I had the aforementioned Jalen Phillips against Chicago. Bad offensive line. He's now not the number one person they're keying in on. As a defensive end, you don't exactly need time to catch up to the playbook. You just go forward. That is your job. You move forward and hit the 300-pound man ahead of you. Linebacker, Drew Tranquil. I don't know why I said against Minnesota. He's going against Atlanta.
Even better.
Okay, there we go. Versus Atlanta.
That's exactly why I put Drew Tranquil in there, because he's playing Atlanta, who runs the football the most of any team. Second, third most. They're top. They got to be top 3. I don't know exactly what they are, but they're top 3.
Yeah.
So Drew Tranquil in the middle. My outlandish pick, and this is the true test, is if the defensive back whisper is for real. Michael Carter. Yes, the defensive back Michael Carter against Buffalo.
Why?
Don't ask me why. No, I'm gonna tell you.
The best analysis ever.
I like it.
So Carter should have had a pick 6 last week, and it got called back for a penalty. I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but I don't think it was a great penalty. It definitely could have been a penalty, but it was more like, really? Are we sure? Mac Jones got bailed out. So he could have had a pick 6. Now, you never bank on a pick 6 in fantasy football. Never. But
I think it was the CJ Mosley block, blindside block.
yes, blindside block. Yes.
Yeah. Which
Yes,
I
it was.
I mean, what is he supposed? Regardless, because he was. Remember how pissed off everybody was at Mosley
Yes.
when that happened. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, you're 100% right. That's what it was. I think Michael Carter is going to get beat on every route that is ran against him. And in the eyes of a defensive back for fantasy football, that is awesome. That is great. And the best part is Michael Carter has the speed to stay with these guys, but he's going to be just a step behind to the point where the receiver will make the catch and he'll make the instant tackle.
Right.
That's what I see. I also see they get Singletary involved on the outside. They sometimes do quick hits, and that's where Michael Carter's going to live. I see a lot of tackles from Michael Carter. Maybe a potential forced fumble recovery. Buffalo's pretty good at holding on to the football and normally does a good job of that. But on the off chance, I think there's a higher chance he does, force a turnover. I'm betting heavy on Michael Carter getting a lot of tackles this week because he will get beat. Thoughts?
Man, there's nothing about that rationale that isn't a potential upside play waiting to happen. I mean, you have to assume how many times is he going to be on the field? Number one, I assume Buffalo's going to run 3 wide, a heavy percentage of the game, even if they're up. I don't think they're going to just abort all. And with him in the slot or even sliding outside here and there, this could be the game where it's Isaiah McKenzie or Khalil Shakur, I guess, that might, see a heavier volume because Sauce is going to be covering Diggs for the most part. And I think that if you're Josh Allen, why not just avoid Sauce altogether and just eat in the slot? And like you said, Carter on the season has he's been targeted 35 times, which, for a proverbial like slot corner, that's a lot real in today's football through 8 weeks. Yeah. And he's been involved in pass play tackling. He's got 20 of them on the season, 21, pardon me. So, the volume is there, and it's not like the Jets are going to be on the offensive side of the ball that often. Personally, I don't see them staying without Breece Hall, without just an offense. Yeah, give me.
They got nothing.
Like that. I like that, especially in leagues where you can start a cornerback, or the cornerback, like premium leagues. That's even better. That's where you really want to identify one of those corners to go after.
100%. Yeah, I don't know what it is, folks. I can't tell you, but there's something in the loins tells me Michael Carter this week. I don't know what to tell you. So
either he's going to be first or like 98th.
You're probably right.
Your options here.
Yeah, high upside play. Let's get that straight. Very high upside play. I feel good about it, and you kind of should maybe kind of feel good too. There's my analysis.
I will tell you, I feel better about it after just hearing the idea and the rationale, because I didn't. If I had to guess who you were going with this week, Michael Carter wouldn't have been on my list. It might have been on my list if we were doing the offensive side and you had to pick a running back outside the RB, 35 range or 25 range, and
sure,
went with that Michael Carter. But I like it, Joe. And you know what's so fun about these? When we give these kind of not off the wall, but lesser known and lesser optimal plays, I'm going to pay attention to that a lot, and I'm going to see just exactly how Michael Carter does. And as soon as he has that fumble recovery, or he has 6 tackles by halftime, I'm going to be rooting for you, and I'll be rooting, and people have no clue what the hell I'm getting so excited about Michael Carter tackling Xavier. I said Xavier McKinney earlier, but I think we knew who I was talking about.
Heck yeah.
I agree on that. I cheer for all your guys' players once we get them, I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. Thank you. You know what I wasn't cheering for last week?
What?
The Tyquan Lewis patellar tendon tear when that happened, because that was my defensive line pick. And 37 snaps in, guys. That's all I got. 6 pressures in 37 snaps. He was a absolute beast, just crushing the Colts offensive line not the Colts offensive line, but like I had expected. And it just resulted in, unfortunately, nothing. Defensive line 114. But is it fair to take a injury out from the lashings that I deserve from that?
Yeah. You can't do anything about an injury, so you weren't wrong. You were pretty right when he was healthy. So,
unfortunately, if you start him and you got 2.5 points, you're probably not too concerned with any of the rationale and or my reasoning. Right. So, you might say, who this week, Nate? And I'm going to my favorite matchup of the week is tonight. So we don't have to wait too long to see this. Javon Hargrave against the Houston Texans. It should be, by all the definition, just an absolute bloodbath for everything Houston tonight. I can't see
how weird it's going to be. I can see the Texans winning this because of just the way the freaking NFL is right now.
Oh, man.
I've
heard.
That's no other reason. Not because I have some secret, nothing.
Just because
everyone's... of the way the NFL is going, it's a Thursday night game and they are screwy.
Everyone's just so high. It was the same thing with Monday Night Football. Everyone was so high on the Patriots. I was at that game.
Yep.
I needed everyone to shut up. And I'm sure everyone in the ESPN swept and their picks were all the Patriots. And if I knew that, I would have put my life savings on the Bears, because it happens every time. Anytime you see an entire sweep on the Sunday Night Football picks, you smash the opposing money line. Smash it. So
that's what's happening with tonight's game. I've seen
100%.
a lot of people that are, quote unquote touts that want to say it only because they know that if it hits, you get, it's going to be one of those, like, I told you so. And no one can give a reason other than yours, Roxanne, is the most viable reason of anybody's, because it's the freaking NFL, and who knows? That's it. That's the only thing you can give, because
it's the freaking NFL.
Not only is it the NFL, it's a Thursday night game, which are just, you add those two together and
shit shows.
Telling you.
Yes.
I put my $5 free bet on the Texans. I'm not gonna lie. And the under.
I love
the
that.
spread or the money line?
Huh?
The spread or the money line?
The money line.
Wow.
I love that.
I love it.
It was a free $5 bet. I would not
Exactly.
put money on it, but I put $5 on that and the under. It pays out like $45 if I hit it. For free.
Yep. I hope you're having a beautiful dinner tomorrow or Wednesday, or not Wednesday, or this weekend or something on top of that. And if you had to put another $5 of free money on who would get a sack tonight, I would tell you to put it on Javon Hargrave. Probably, maybe not though, because this whole thing we've seen this game's going to be flipped upside down. But Kenyon Green, last 4 games, rough. 20 pressures allowed. Javon Hargrave, last couple games now where he started to pick it up, 16% pressure rate. That 18% win rate is, getting into that elite status, or really, really good status for a DE or an outside linebacker. For a defensive tackle, that is elite. That's Aaron Donald-esque type numbers. And I just like the matchup. I think that they're going to have a lot of attention to pay to Josh Sweat, to Robert Quinn, to Hassan Reddick. I just feel like this is a game where somebody, and maybe it's Fletcher Cox that sees it, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say it's going to be Javon Hargrave because I like that matchup specifically. So, well, we'll see on that.
Go. I like it.
Love
it. Discourage you.
What's that?
I said, don't let us discourage you with our nonsense.
No, you're not discouraging me. I love the idea. And you can still be a productive IDP. In fact, actually, the fact that Houston could win this game based off of, your rationale is better for Javon Hargrave. Because if they're blowing him out by 30, he's not going to be on the field that much. Philadelphia will be on the field. Can't score when you're sitting on the sideline. So, hey, maybe that's going to work dual favor. We're going to get paid, guys. We're going to go on vacation together with all this money we're making.
Oh, I can't wait. We'd have so much fun.
We would have a lot of
Meet
fun.
in Vegas.
Oh, it'll be a good time.
Gosh. Just don't take any of my defensive picks, anybody doing their bets, if you're wanting to pay for your hotel room, or you'll be staying off the strip somewhere for sure.
Yeah.
But if you put $5 on Deion Jones finishing as an LB3 last week, that would have paid off. Here's the thing though, guys. I don't think that's bad. I think that's kind of a victory considering where he was going, but I consider it a loss still. JOK was inactive. I expected much better game out of Deion Jones. He had a sack again, he had a sack, but nothing but, that was about the only reason why he scored the points. And that takes me right into my pick for this week, who he's a player I'm not a big fan of. Joe, I don't know your opinion. How do you feel of Shaq Thompson? Right?
Yeah, I don't.
Me too.
Yeah, I didn't really like him when he came into the league. I didn't like the fact that he was Shaq Green Thompson, and that just pissed me the fuck off for some reason. Which made me like him less, or which made me hate him more, I should say, because I didn't really like him in the first place. I don't know, man. I mean,
it's fair.
It was like, really? He's replacing Luke Kuechly? Really? I don't know if that's what it is.
Yes.
But he just, nothing about his game screams great. It is average at best, and the only thing he has going for him is speed.
Yeah.
That's it. So I think I just see him as a middle of the line, like middle of the road linebacker with speed. That's it.
The 3 S's this week: speed, snaps, situation. That's what Shaq Thompson has. So maybe it's 4 S's Shaq. And he's actually going to be the higher Shaq of the week, if you ask me, with Shaq Leonard, if you want to call him Shaq. I'm still calling him Darius, but whatever. But Shaq Thompson has one thing. Like I said, snaps. He's got the 11th most snaps of any linebacker in football so far. What do you do if you're not doing much with it? But he's doing enough with it in that he's being asked to pressure. I mean, if you look at his pass rush snaps, he's in that top, 15. 2 pressures as a result sucks. But here's the carryover from Deion Jones. Cincinnati has allowed a middle linebacker or an interior linebacker to get to Joe Burrow in all but I believe it's one game this year. So everybody at least must understand that interior line of their whole offensive line is susceptible to the pass rush from the middle linebacker position, or at least an interior linebacker. And I'm going to just hedge my bets and say that he does it again, and it's going to be the person who is tasked with rushing the passer. I think that might mean a more tackle-heavy game for Frankie Louvu potentially, but I want the bonus points that a sack would deliver. And he's in coverage a lot. Just not the biggest Shaq Thompson fan.
Yeah.
But I think this is the week where I feel comfortable moving him up outside of, into my top 24, where I normally don't want to put him. I do, but I don't feel good about it.
Well, like you said, situation makes everything different. And the previous 8 weeks maybe have not been that great, but this week with the situation, that makes everything different. Everything.
I know. And I mean, it's
and I like your reasoning.
Well, and that's all that really, it's all I can go off of is I have to find, solid information. And I think that it's sound. I think we'll see. Defensive back position wise, though, this week, that was definitely a little more tricky for me until I listened to a radio show today. Locked On Chiefs and Locked On Titans had one of their little joint podcasts, and the Titans beat writer who was on there was talking that Amani Hooker, assuming he's healthy because he left the game a little bit with shoulder injury, is going to have his hands full. They've said that they're going to put him pretty much on Travis Kelce for the majority of the game, is what they've said. I'm using that information, and I'm going to ride that, because if that's the case, Amani Hooker will have his hands full. He's better in coverage than any other person they have, better than Kevin Byard. So if he's going to see Travis Kelce and he's going to see Isaiah Pacheco occasionally on those patterns, I think there's a double-digit tackle potential for this game. Much better than last week's. I'm not going to get past my F up here. Jordan Whitehead was DB 105 last week. And I will caveat that with, holy hell, the Jets linebackers tackled everybody. They had 26 total tackles by the linebacking core, which is the most that they've had all season.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they had a lot. So nothing got past them. So it wasn't even, Jordan Whitehead never really had a chance. But regardless, that seems like me cowering and taking an easy way out. I won't do that. I'll stand firm and say I was wrong. And this week I'll be right with Amani Hooker, though. Joe, what do you think?
Well, my guy to temper expectations on, not to spoil the lead, is Kevin Byard, so I love it.
Well, I didn't mean to even set that. You would think that. Well, let's go right into it. Let's do yours first. So tell us a little bit about Kevin Byard.
Fuck Kevin Byard. I think he's incredibly overrated. I think he's found himself right place at the right time. I don't think there's anything absolutely stellar about his game.
Yeah.
I think he is a run-of-the-mill safety who has size, which helps at that position. He's fast, so he can make up for his lack of coverage skills. He's built like a linebacker, so he fills the hole well. And he's fast, what makes up for his lack of coverage skills. He's not good, though.
And that's
he can rake in the tackles, but it's also because can you name anybody besides Jeffrey Simmons in the middle part of that defense? No, it's Kevin Byard and the field after the first level of Jeffrey Simmons. There's nobody else there. So he is literally de facto has to do everything. When Wesley Woodyard was there and Rashaan Evans, when they actually had a middle linebacker, Kevin Byard was irrelevant. He was meh at best. Woodyard retires, Kevin Byard's stock starts going up. He had one season with 6 interceptions. Dude is just, again, run of the mill. I don't like it. I don't think he's going to have any interceptions in this game. Kansas City does not run the football, so he can't fill the gap. Travis Kelce is going to ruin him in coverage if he's ever matched up against him.
Right.
I don't like Kevin Byard. I don't think Kevin Byard's a good player. 100%. This is definitely like a gut. I don't like Kevin Byard pick, but there's also some truth to it.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. That's my Jerome Baker analysis. Is I don't think Jerome Baker's just that great, and I mean it pans out. You know, when it actually follows through and they're not productive as a result, that definitely makes it a little bit easier to say, "See, I told you so."
Oh yeah, way easier.
Yeah, early on the season, I was definitely a little bit higher on Kevin Byard, just because I had looked back and like, again, just it was a volume play, and since 2018 when he was a rookie, I mean, he's played 99% of every snap. 99% of every snap played, he has played. If you aren't fifth in tackles amongst defensive backs over that time, 20th in pass defense, 13 in quarterback hits, 25th in sacks, 5th in interceptions, I see those and they stand out because you want to make a point, but you kind of not deserve or should have that with that many snaps, but it's not as awe-inspiring. So I'm right there with you. They're going to get trounced, and Kevin Byard's going to be worthless.
I agree.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of Jorge doubling up on Cam Jordan back-to-back weeks?
Double down.
He hates Cam Jordan. He hates these cans so much. You seen The Jerk? You know what that's from, Joe?
No.
The Jerk with Steve Martin. You ever seen that?
No, but I
Yeah.
do know Steve Martin.
Okay, that's a start. That's good.
Yep.
He is. I'm going to tell you. I hope by week 15, 16, whenever we're wrapping up this season with this show, you've watched it by then, and you give me your 2 cents, because I think that it's a great movie. It's definitely an older comedy, but I think you would get a crack, kick out of it, and you will know what he hates these cans is all about. Roxanne, you've seen it?
I was very young. It's been.
Don't even tell me you're very young with that crap.
No.
You feel bad.
When I thought I was very young. I'm
I know.
older than you. Of course I remember it, but I don't remember it. Like when you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that movie. I remember probably seeing it, but I don't remember it.
Fair enough. We're gonna have a little watch party sometime on Thursday.
In Vegas.
I'm gonna hijack this. Yeah, we're just gonna all sit down and watch The Jerk in Vegas. So
Yeah. Better than on black.
yeah, I am betting. If I had to bet again, parlay into a betting play, I bet on Danielle Hunter not being top last week, and it actually paid off for a change. He was a DL 57, so thank God I picked the right Minnesota outside linebacker, because Zadarius Smith
Had a great day.
Holy hell, he was amazing. He had an amazing day. But I didn't say Zadarius Smith. I said Danielle Hunter, so I'm going to take that and write it and be excited and hope that this week get the same. I've actually done this, guys. I have Roquan in a league, and I benched him this week. I don't like doing it.
No, I don't think it's wrong with that.
It's a little bold just because it's Roquan, but man, first week, new team, Monday night, bye week in week 10. I think they can win this game without Roquan against New Orleans. I'm not enamored with New Orleans. And I just get the sensation that it's a 50% snap game, maybe 5 to 7 tackles. But like I said earlier, I want to see how many times he blitzes, and if that dynamic, if he's utilized different than he was in Chicago, what that potential upside could look like. And so Roquan, I'm going to have finishing probably as a, LB 32. Even with 50% of snaps, I think he can be an LB 3. I just don't expect him to be an LB 1 this week.
Okay.
I don't think you're right. I don't think they have to play him this week. They don't. It's not an emergency.
Yeah.
And with the bye week, he can learn a lot in those 8-9 days.
Who are you playing over him is my question.
So in that specific league, it is the Gridiron Ratings Dynasty League that we have, and we are linebacker heavy. Jorge and I actually split that team, and so I'm going to pull it up real quick. It's a deep. I mean, it's 12-team league, but our linebackers are just ridiculously deep to the point of. I'm getting there slowly but surely. So here's our linebackers: Devondre Campbell injured, might not play. Roquan, Bobby Wagner, Zadarius Smith, Eric Kendricks, Matt Judon. And then we could just go with 2 of those. And then, I could pivot to Cameron Jordan, but I can't start Cameron Jordan if Jorge has him as his down play of the week. That's
True.
not going to be smart. Or, JPP, the Yannick Ngakoue. I don't like that either there. But, yeah, so Devondre, Judon, Kendricks, Roquan, Zadarius Smith, Bobby Wagner. I go back and forth between Roquan and Zadarius Smith, but I think I'm going to go with Zadarius Smith against Washington's offensive line.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. Josh just dropped in a question, I think, to kind of wrap us all up here. Is there any news on Jalen Hawkins, the Atlanta safety? He needs to pick up a safety this week.
Man, so let's see what he did in practice today. I don't know if he practiced it at all. I know that secondary is just demolished right now.
Decimated.
Yeah, decimated is a much better word. Why I didn't say that is beyond me, but take the pass. I'll work up.
English is hard.
English is a second language.
English hard.
I don't need that. So I don't see any major updates. I mean, it looks like he'll be back on the field, according to their beat writer. They're not clear exactly what stages of the concussion protocol he's in, but it does appear that he's trending in the right direction. So that's positive. Is there a safety that he should pick up? I mean, honestly, Josh, I mean, let's see. Maybe Amani Hooker. I mean, I don't know why I would tell you not to pick up him. I mean, that's who I have as my impact play, and I don't think there's a chance there's a chance he's available. I don't know if that's the case or not.
I could say, I mean, I had to pick someone up too because I have I had Kareem Jackson on a bye and Marcus Williams on the IR, and he started 3 safeties. So I imagine this is the same league, Josh, although we're in different divisions. Jesse Bates, Eddie Jackson, IDP guys, yeah. I picked up Marcus Epps.
Okay.
Literally for tonight. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. I looked at the safeties available and they're all garbage. So I looked at Marcus Epps. He averages a lot, and I think Houston's just gonna pound the football tonight. And I hope that Epps is gonna be up there close to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I'm looking at our waivers and in our specific league, and I don't see. So there's a name that I have available in our league, and I don't think he should be, is Geno Stone.
Okay.
And I don't think Geno Stone's getting enough credit. I've brought him up on my waiver wire article the last 2 weeks now, and he's delivered on back-to-back weeks. They're actually using him, I would say, more importantly than Kyle Hamilton currently. He's been blitzing a lot, him at the line of scrimmage. Keanu Neal could be another name to pay attention to if Antonio, is he out? Antoine Winfield Jr. is another name that's banged up, and
he grabbed Epps. Hooker is also available, and Stone is available. So
there you go.
Well, good luck with that.
Plenty to choose from. I'd say go with Epps. Honestly, I think they probably all score flat line the same amount, maybe within 1 or 2 points. And if it's IDP guys and you lose by 1 or 2 points, that's just an unfortunate week. I've either won by 100 or lost by 100. So
yep. Now I will tell you the one thing about that, Roxanne. Are you in that as well?
The what?
The IDP guys Invitational League. I mean, you get in it next year. All you do is just say you want to play, and it's fun. It's but there's 22.
Is it on MFL?
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, facts. Yep, I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, I hate it, but
I hate it.
Here nor there. But you start 22 people. I bet I've probably played 4 weeks in a row where my opponent didn't have 22 starters. Like, didn't even know, like, you got to the limit of 18, and they're like, well, I can't add anybody. There's no way, right? And it's like, yeah, you can. You can add pretty much your whole damn lineup. So that's why another reason why Joe said you win or lose by 100 sometimes, because team you're playing might not have everybody in it, and you crush them, but it's hard scoring. So, well, that's good. Are you guys not in the same division either, correct? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I don't believe we're in the same division. So, well, obviously, because you just picked up Epps. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Never mind. And it's not mine, so I don't have to worry about that, which is
Yeah.
good.
So we are not in the same division.
Yeah, we'll give you good advice then, Josh. We won't tell you what not to do. And
Right.
You're welcome,
Right.
buddy.
Do we have any questions besides Josh?
Josh would be the only question. I answered some of the offense ones in the chat.
yeah,
Yeah.
We're not allowed to have those.
No, we are not.
no, but
Let's wrap it up. This has been the latest episode of You Down with IDP from Club Fantasy and Fantasy and Frames. Make sure you're following Fantasy and Frames on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fantasy and Frames. And be sure to check out their website, fantasyandframes.com, for all your IDP needs. And don't forget, they do Dynasty Redraft and DFS too. I am at F Queen Roxanne on Twitter. He is at Joe _Zollo and at Nate Marcum. Hopefully everything has gone well with Jorge, and you three will have fun next week because I will be in Seattle.
I won't be.
Enjoy Seattle.
It's Seattle. I have family, so that's
It's Seattle. Nice. Glowing endorsement for the city.
Yeah.
Dude, it's almost as bad as Portland. I was there in, I don't even know, earlier this year. And it's icky to even go to Seattle. It's gross, it's dangerous, and I don't recommend it.
Perfect. Any other cities we want to beat up
Portland.
on? Portland, you suck.
Yeah,
Seattle, get the hell out of here.
gross.
Philadelphia.
Ew.
Garbage.
They
Yeah.
grease up their street poles.
Let's keep degenerates off there when they think they're gonna win. Did you guys see? Sorry to go on a different note. Mattress
Mattress Mac.
in Houston. He since the
Big
Eagles
fucker.
are playing in Houston, he booked a suite and he's getting like 20 Eagles fans and letting 20 Eagles fans go sit up there in the suite and watch the game. All you can eat, all you can drink.
Really?
Yeah, because he said he wants to show, which was great because it was all this positivity and complimentary, things. And then at the end, he goes, I want to show how you treat opposing fans, contrary to in Philly. And so I was like, oh, look at you, a little jab at the end.
Huh.
But no one's going to say, hey, screw you, buddy. They're going to go eat his food and drink his drink. And then
Yeah.
say, hey, screw you, buddy. Maybe, throw a battery or two. Why not?
Interesting.
Get it in.
Okay.
Sorry, Josh.
Huh. Okay.
There we go. That's it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the game tonight, guys.
You too, Roxanne.
See you in 2 weeks, Roxanne.
See you
Yeah.
guys soon.
Bye, friends. Have a lovely evening.